Nights at Freddy's. By now I'm sure you've all heard of the series, which is now dominating the indie developer market on Steam, and it was all done by one man. One insane man. But hey, who are we to argue with success?
Well hey, Scott Cawthon is definitely doing something right.
And his success only continues with his newest installment, Five Nights at Freddy's 4, The Final Chapter.
Huh. Where have I heard that before?
Well, rest assured you'll be joining us again when we do our review of Five Nights at Freddy 5, A New Beginning.
Five Nights at Freddy 6, Foxy Goes to Hell.
Oh, and don't forget Five Nights at Freddy 7, Bonnie Takes Manhattan, right all the way up to Fredbear X.
Oh, but of course, we can't forget the crossover to end all crossovers, Freddy vs. Slender.
Yeah, well, it sure looks like Scott knows what he's doing. Anyway, for now at least, we're not going to dive too deep into the lore of Five Nights at Freddy. At least not this time.
No, in fact we're planning to look at the entire series as a whole at a later date, coming very soon. But for now, we're going to only focus on Five Nights at Freddy's 4 and what it offers players this time around.
So, heavy spoiler warning right now for those of you who want to experience the game firsthand.
If you have been following the series up till now, you're probably pretty familiar with the vague story the games have been trying to hit at you with various newspaper clippings and concealed mini-games hidden in each stage over the course of the titles.
Throughout the months in between game releases, fans have been speculating and theorizing on how the stories of mass murder and haunted pizzerias came to be, and what transpired to set all of the events in motion. Even if you're not a big fan of the games, one thing this series has done very well is present an interesting narrative that would rather show you than tell you, but still show you and tell you only so much. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 continues the trend with jump-scaring gameplay that's been a staple of the series since the first game, and each new game does little to escape the trend, but it does add to it and changes some features to up the ante a little to keep things interesting and fresh as well as terrifying for those who have been invested into it. Story-wise, it's reasonable to assume the game takes place in 1987, the year of the infamous Bite, which the games have been pointing out as a key moment in this series, when everything went horribly wrong for Fredbear's Family Diner. This event ultimately began the nightmare for future restaurants and games. So this, in essence, is another prequel. Jeez, now we're hitting Zelda timeline territory.
It's believed we are playing as the unfortunate child who was the victim of the bite and prey for his night terrors, as he clearly has issues with animatronics and his older brother constantly being a bully, as per revealed in the minigames this time around. Now, this is just us theorizing, but Phone Guy, who pretty much is the confirmed killer, had little identity outside of what we knew, yet this may reveal a little more about him. First of all, the older brother of the child is the only character outright specified by the game. Adding to this is that he is the only character wearing a Foxy mask. And what have we learned about Phone Guy from Five Nights 2?
See, I told you wouldn't have any problems. Did Foxy ever appear in the hallway? Probably not. I was just curious. Like I said, he was always my favorite.
Ah, the plot thickens.
So now, in terms of story, we've learned that Phone Guy is related to the victim of the Bite of 1987, as well as the direct cause of it by throwing his younger brother into Golden Freddy's jaws. This in turn may also reveal Golden Freddy's identity when he's saying, "It's me," the little brother, in previous games, and is now trying to get revenge on his big brother for his mistake and murderous nature he would go on to have. Well, anyway, that's enough storytelling. A game storytelling. But what about the gameplay?
Well, it's definitely upped the ante and improved on the craft. First of all, your protagonist is no longer hot glued to the chair, thank God, but can now move around a bedroom with two entryways, armed with only a flashlight. In a similar fashion, Bonnie and Chica can only enter the rooms from the respective sides, just like in Five Nights 1. Victory for the player this time around all comes down to sound and what you can hear.
In addition, you better have good speakers because the headphones that I was using during my run constantly failed to register certain sounds that I really needed to hear. Well, that is until I switched to my speakers.
There are absolutely no cameras this time around to give you any clue as to where the monsters may be lurking, so you will constantly have to rush back and forth between doors to check and listen to see how close one is coming up. Should you not hear any breathing nearby, you're clear to shine your flashlight to see if they are coming up from a distance. or if they are there at all.
This is key. Never shine your light at the moment you get to a door. This could instantly get you killed if a monster is close enough, but instead, listen for about 3 seconds for a breathing cue. If it's there, quickly shut the doors and hold them there for about a few seconds to keep any lurkers at bay.
Foxy, when he starts appearing, has a different tactic. Unlike Bonnie and Chica, Foxy can enter the room through either door. Fortunately, he won't kill you outright. However, he does only add to the problems and can make your condition worse. The best tactic is to try and keep him from coming in the room at all by listening to your speakers. You will catch Foxy running in the hallways in stereo. This is an easy way to tell from where he will likely make an attempt to bolt to your room. By flashing your light on him, you can hold him off for a few good moments. But bear in mind, you will have to remember the strategy for keeping the other two at bay while contending with Foxy.
Should Foxy make it into the room, all is not lost, but all did just get hell of a lot harder because now you have 3 doors to check instead of 2. Foxy will now be hiding in the closet, and over a short period of time, he will try to get closer to you. If Foxy is this close, then hold the doors shut on him until he's backed away. Simple as that. Easy? Not likely. Having to cycle through 3 different doors to avoid being snuck up on is difficult enough as it is, but they do get faster as well. Yet, there is one more problem that you do have to deal with. Behind you is the bed. At first, nothing will be there, but throughout the night, little animatronic devilish-looking Freddy dolls will start to collectively sit on the bed. The noises they make can hinder your hearing, making it difficult to judge where the monsters will be outside of the doors. But there is a way to stop these little dolls. In fact, you better do it as soon as you can, because should the 3 animatronics sit on the bed longer than they ought to, then your flashlight is not only going to start giving out on you, but at that point, Freddy himself will make quick work of you. So yes, altogether, you have 4 animatronic monstrosities to fight off. Yet, with quick timing and a clever ear, it's not as impossible as it sounds. Challenging? Oh yes, very challenging. Especially when nights go on. But impossible? No way.
Interestingly, once you get to night 5, that's when the game takes a surprising twist, because now everything you've learned will no longer help you. Why? None of the previous animatronics will be here to mess with you. Instead, just one. And this one's probably the creepiest. Fredbear. This guy breaks every rule you've been following up till now. Now you have to quickly hustle between doors and quickly turn on your light to see him coming. And if you see him, quickly shut the light off and shut the door. And let me tell you, you got to do this fast, as Fredbear will give you just so much of a fraction of a second to stop him. He will only rotate from one door to another, but when you hear him laugh, that's when he'll surprise you, and you better start checking the bed and the closet.
If you are easily spooked by these types of games, do not be surprised, as there will be a lot of points where you will jump a lot and, well...
Oh, God.
Yeah.
One helpful trick that's pretty ambitious is a minigame in between stages that can allow you to skip 2 hours of the next night to make the level shorter. My problem with this is you only get one shot at it, and if you fail, you don't get a repeat, even if you load the game back up. So while it's encouraging to skip 2 extra hours, the enemy placement is so random and sometimes downright cruel that it will hardly matter in the long run. But if you must know, the minigame is red light, green light. Plushtrap will sit on the other side of the room, and while your light is off, he will start moving at a decent pace towards you. I found it pretty easy to complete this stage, as you can easily hear when he's moving and getting closer, so if you're decent with timing, getting Plushtrap to stop on the X like you're supposed to shouldn't be that hard. But like I mentioned before, the odds of failure in the actual stage are stacked fairly high anyway that it will hardly matter. And when I say the odds of failure are high, it's mostly because of the random generated monsters. And well, it's just that. Sometimes the game can be very forgiving and be surprisingly generous, with Foxy and the others making very little effort to come and get you. And other times they can literally get you a game over within the first 10 seconds, I'm not kidding. There is a bit of skill involved in trying to succeed in these stages, as your timing and reflexes as well as intuition can play a key factor. But a lot of the times it really just comes down to sheer dumb luck as to what's going to be thrown at you. But for what it is, the thrill of trying to beat the computer and avoiding the game over result is exhilarating, and I find it kind of compelling. And guys, that's Five Nights at Freddy's 4. And honestly, I have to admit, this is probably one of the better entries in the series that Scott has produced. The monsters, for the first time, to me, look genuinely frightening, to the point that I don't even want to look at them for longer than I have to. And when they jump at me, I actually get spooked. Well, sometimes I get annoyed too. But the anticipation of that jump scare that you are trying so hard to keep away from you makes this game, like the ones before it, work very well at what they were trying to do.
Now, some people do truly hate these games for various reasons.
Either the hatred for cheap jump scares, the hatred for Scott's immediate claim to fame for cashing on something that worked, the milking of an already saturated genre, take your pick. If by now you haven't been invested or slightly interested in the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, then don't bother, as there isn't anything here that will change your mind. Sure, the imagery and rules change and get creepier, but if jump scares aren't your thing, then, well, you know.
As for the rest of you fans who already love the lore and the lovable characters, and by lovable characters I mean the sexy robot pirate fox, Foxy,
like no other. Flawless. Absolutely flawless.
well, you're no doubt gonna continue to love them here.
Aww, look at how cute he is in plush form! He's so adorable, I want a little Thanks for watching another game review by thebrotherhoodgaming.com. Be sure to subscribe for more greatness from the channel, including more reviews, speedruns, retrospectives, and much more. Also, for updates and quick notifications, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook and our official website. Keep on gaming, viewers.